back to Big Mon Movies, and today we're going to show you how to paint an Army Man tank. This is the sequel to How to Paint an Army Man because it got so many views, we decided why not. And so, we have here an average Army Man tank. You know, all companies have the different Army Man in the box, but they all have usually tanks in them, and they're usually patterned with a really ugly color scheme, or they're just not great looking. Like the treads here have no color on them. And so we here at Big Mon Movies are gonna give you a generic guide to painting an Army Man tank. First step is covering up that ugly hole at the bottom. Usually they have a big gaping hole at the bottom, so what we do is we cover it up with cardboard. It doesn't do much to the overall structure of the tank, but I mean, it looks a lot better than the gigantic hole that was there. So the first color we're gonna start out with is gonna be the color of the tracks, which is probably the main thing we want to paint today. So we're gonna use any generic silver paint, but I'm using plate mail metal from the Army Painter War Paints. This is a type of model paint. You can use anything, any type of model paint that would be used for plastic models anywhere. Because really, this is just a plastic model, but much more less self-assembly. So we're just gonna take it and put it right in. And now that the tracks are done, we can move on to the camouflage. I mean, tan and green, they're the worst enemies of the plastic Army Man world. Why should their colors be on the same tank? Now, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna use basically any flesh tone from any company, but I'm using Barbarian Flesh, mixed with Bugman's Glow from Citadel. And these are both miniature paint companies. You should check out our other miniature paint videos on our channel using these paints. And now we have the paints mixed, and we can begin to cover up these splotches of paint right here. Take your time and be careful. Remember, this plastic tank was made in a day, but real camouflages aren't. Here is our finished tank, and if you're painting for the green army instead of the tan army, keep it to a dark green, light green, and an in the middle darker than the color that you're painting on green. But here's our tan tank, and you see it's looking a lot better already. And we also don't forget to paint the cardboard, because or else it'll look like cardboard and really ugly. Now for the next color, and it'll be black. Abaddon black is what we're using for this time. It's from the Citadel Paint Company. Great paints, and they stick to almost any surface, so definitely would recommend. What we're painting in this round is gonna be stuff like the tank turret. Definitely screw the top off, because you can, and it helps a ton. Now that we're all done with the black, which I also used on the treads because tank treads are usually black, we're gonna move on to a shade or a wash. What you can do is you can either buy a shade, which I more recommend, or you can really use water and thin it down a paint to the point where it's still paint, but it's a lot thinner and flows into the cracks and crevices. So what we're gonna do with the shade is we're gonna take it and we're gonna brush it on the parts of the tank you want to look weathered and dirty. Now that we're finished with the shade, we can see that the tank looks like it's seen action. Now it's ready to roll out and fight the greens. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Big Mon Movies.